Okay, hello everybody. My name is Blake Perry.
I'm Brandon Aguilar.
Okay, so we're going to mediate you guys today. Thank you for coming. We appreciate that. For opening up and taking time out of your day to let us figure out what is going on and trying to come to a conclusion and agreement by the end of this mediation.
Yeah, it shows you guys are really taking the necessary steps to try and resolve both of your issues.
What a hater. There ain't no flea.
Like Blake said, we thank you for coming to this mediation. And Mr. Sato Gugashi, how would you like to be addressed?
Oh, you can just call me Sato.
Sato? Okay, not a problem. And Mr. Dale Smith, how would you like to be addressed?
I'm cool with Dale.
Dale. Awesome.
I would appreciate it if you guys just no phones, like silent airplane mode, so there's no distractions or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Is that okay with both of you?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's start with you, Sato. Can you tell us what is going on, what the problem is, why you're here?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so one of the issues that I've had with Dale Smith is that we have a koi fish pond, and he sprayed some pesticide into his backyard, and that got into our backyard, and many of the trees were destroyed. Not only that, the koi fish died, and this has been something that has been a burden to me and my father. And what we want is we want him to actually pay for that, because it's not fair that that happens. And I'm fed up with his actions. He has showed no sign of wanting to change or wanting to improve his relationship with us, and things have just really gotten out of hand at this point, and I'm tired of it.
Okay. So the koi fish died, and you want him to pay for the koi fish.
Yeah, I want him to pay for the koi fish, but I also want him to pay for the rest of the yard. I want to teach him a lesson.
What kind
die.
of lesson do you want to teach him?
I want him to be responsible for what he did.
That's true.
That's what I want.
Because I had a job interview this Friday, and then
So, it seems like you are very upset about the koi fish dying, and more than that, it goes beyond just it goes beyond the koi fish. You really want Dale to understand that there are consequences for the actions that you take.
Exactly, yeah. For me, it's completely about the lesson. I feel like he needs to learn a lesson and a principle that you can't just do whatever you want and get away with it and destroy others' property.
Okay.
yeah, it's like it's right there.
So what are the kind of the main things that really upset you?
Well, one of the main things that really upsets me is that I feel like Dale Smith thinks that he can get away with this type of stuff. Mainly because my father is Japanese and he doesn't speak really any English. Even though I've grown up in America and I've been here my entire life, I feel like he thinks that he can take advantage of us. I don't like that.
Okay, so you think maybe race has some type of a little,
Absolutely, I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I really think that race has something to play with that.
Can you expand on that, please? Like, why do you think that?
I just feel that if I wasn't, if my father wasn't someone who didn't, who could speak English, he wouldn't be treated this way. That's how I feel.
So you feel if you were Caucasian, things would have gone differently?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, can you tell us why you're here?
So I'm here because they think, the DA called me in. I'm getting charged with vandalism. I'm going to admit that I did mess up their camera. They've called the cops on me before. They've assumed that I'm a drug dealer. I'm not. And then, like, they have their camera pointed at my house, and, like, it's, like, my privacy, right? And I've come over and I've tried to have discussions. I don't have any problems with Mr. Kobayashi, the older one. We've never had any conflict. I went over to communicate, I had to talk, but obviously, as he said, there's, like, a language barrier. So, like, going to talk, it's kind of hard. So I tried talking to him, and it didn't go so well, I guess. Like, when I went over, I felt a little intimidated because, like, he was practicing martial arts or whatever in, like, the garage, and as I was trying to talk to him, he's, like, punching things and things like that, and it's just like, all right. And so, like, I did get annoyed and a little irritated, so some things did, like, I didn't put hands on him, but I did get louder, and it did come off a little threatening, but I didn't mean to come off that way, but it's just really hard to communicate in that way. And with the whole yard thing, it wasn't on purpose. I wasn't, like, in their backyard spraying pesticides or anything. It's a weed killer. It's a natural weed killer. I do have my own yard. I was trying to get the weeds out of my yard. It just so happened to blow over. Like, I mean, I have no control over that. It's like the weather, you know? And so, like, I mean, I just want to, I have too many problems in my life right now. Like, my wife left me. She got custody of the kids. I lost my job, so I don't need any more problems than I already have. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. So, your wife has custody of your children. You and your wife got a divorce. You don't want any more problems, but it just so happens that one comes out. How does that make you feel that he is, you know, he thinks that you are doing this on purpose, right? Like, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel, like, terrible. I mean, there's already a bunch of stuff that's already happening, so it's like cherry on top. Like, I'm like trying to figure things out with, like, working and things like that. And it's like, if I have this, like, the whole vandalism thing on my record, it's gonna be harder for me to find another job. And then how am I supposed to, like, pay for, like, child support or something like that? Like, it's a bunch of chain reactions, and I, like, having to communicate and trying to communicate and it not working out well. So that's kind of like why I'm here, because I do want to resolve this issue. I want to figure something out, but, like, how can we do that? It's like, you know what I'm saying?
But you did not have to threaten in my garage. He threatened me in my garage, and you did not have to do that.
He could have listened when I was trying to talk to him instead of practicing martial arts to make sure I knew that he knows martial arts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where he's coming from. I didn't have to get heated. But again, like, I've had a lot of things going on in my life that something like not paying attention to and trying to communicate and resolve an issue can aggravate somebody. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to fix something.
Yeah, so it seems like you're going through a lot, and having this come up is kind of just the last thing you really want to be worried about right now. It seems like you have a lot of other burdens in your life right now. So when you went over to talk to Mr. Kobayashi, you said you tried to talk to him. Can you explain if you guys actually, what you guys talked about, if anything at all?
Well, when I first came over, I wanted to ask them to stop facing the camera in my house, like, towards my way. Like, I mean, if they had some suspicions or had any issues, they could have, like, confronted me about it and, like, try to, like, figure, like, the story out or something like that. But instead, they want to keep accusing me of things. So they're trying to catch me in the act. I'm assuming, because, like, why would you have a camera facing towards someone else's house?
You feel that violates your privacy.
Yeah, exactly. Super violating of privacy. And then not only that, it's like facing the bathroom, and that's a little weird.
Right. So if it happened to face somewhere else in your house, maybe front yard or something, would that be more something that's okay with you?
It'd make me feel a little less weird, but it's still kind of weird to be facing a camera towards somebody's house. That's, again, evasion of privacy. But yeah, I guess, like, the way, like, my kids still, I mean, although I don't have custody of my kids, I do still have kids that do come over and, like, things like that. I have a daughter, and she does use the restroom, so that's kind of, like, weird to have it facing one area where it's like overly private, I guess. But like, I mean, having a camera face your house is like not okay.
Right.
There's only one camera, right? Facing
Yeah.
your house. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Kobayashi, does your father, is he aware that his camera is facing?
He was aware that the camera was facing the house. Yes, of course.
Is there a certain reason why it's facing the house? And if there is, can you tell me why?
I mean, my father, he is getting older. It's for his security, just to make sure that, you know, there's nothing going on in the neighborhood. You have a camera up to make sure that he is safe.
And just so we're clear, is that camera still up and facing towards Dale's house?
The camera is currently broken since Dale hit it with his broom and broke the camera. So the camera is it's facing his house, but it's not working.
Okay.
So, Dale, you did or did not, or you did, it's either accidentally or non-accidentally, killed Mr. Kobayashi's koi fish.
Koi fish, I didn't know about. Now I know about it. Obviously, that's why we're here. But again, it wasn't my intent to destroy or like kill the fish. It's like pesticide. I mean, whether you can't control that, I'm not like over there like with my spray trying to like kill everything. That wasn't my intention.
Okay, so you go and you kill you don't go over and kill the fish, but you end up killing the fish. You end up killing the trees that, you know, are in his backyard. And then you break the video camera that's facing
The
your
camera
house.
situation was before the fish situation.
Okay. So there's no correlation between the two.
No.
Okay.
So like the camera situation, what I feel is like they were just watching me. But then again, like he was stating that it was for his father's protection. But why do they only have one camera facing my way instead of multiple cameras facing the neighborhood? If he's so worried about the neighborhood, so do you see why I would feel very uncomfortable with the camera? It's just facing my house.
Yeah. Do you feel there's a better way to handle that situation? I mean, you didn't have to break it.
Well, when I went over, how I said earlier, when I went over to try to talk to them about the camera and like didn't want to listen to me or talk to me or like have any type of communication, and that's again why I got a little aggravated. And again, I shouldn't have come off threatening, but I mean I did. But it's like the camera's facing my house, where again my kids live, where my kids come, my daughter comes, you know, like it's a little weird. Actually, it's a lot weird.
So, Sato, about the camera, you said it was for your father's privacy.
Protection. I just want to make sure that he's safe and that he can see what's going on, and I can see what's going on around his house.
Right. So is there a reason that it's primarily one camera that was focused towards Dale's house instead of maybe just pointing towards the front yard?
We're just getting the camera set up, so we're just setting them up everywhere. That was just the first of many to be set up. So yeah.
And how long has that camera been set up?
The camera was set up for maybe about a couple months.
Okay.
I feel like everybody should look different. Like I wasn't like trying to cheat or anything, but I like listening to these issues, like switch up the line and then look.
Honestly, Mr. Kobayashi, I'm very curious on which death of the backyard, so the trees and the koi fish.
Yeah.
Which one meant not the most, but which one affected you the most?
Well, the trees and everything can be replaced. Pretty much everything in the backyard can be replaced. What really bothered me was the fish, the koi fish. I'm really upset that those koi fish that I've had for many years were lost. Were lost by the pesticides. I mean, I don't really even understand how Dell here didn't think that by him spraying pesticides, it would ruin other people's property. I mean, it's common sense. It's common knowledge. Do you not have common sense?
No, see, like I didn't work. Yeah, that's
Okay, so it seems that out of all the things that died and that the koi fish meant the most to you.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. So, what would be the thing that you would want most out of this mediation that we're having now?
Like I said, I want Dell to learn his lesson. I want him to pay a contractor or someone. My bad, screensaver. I want Dell Smith to learn a lesson, and I want him to pay for everything that was damaged. I want to teach him a lesson off principle. That's what I really want out of this mediation.
So you said you wanted him to pay for anything. Is there like specific dollar amounts that you had in mind?
Well, I want him to get pretty much the entire my entire backyard re-landscaped. I want the trees to be put back in. I want new sod in. I want new koi fish. I want all of that fixed, and I want the camera fixed as well too. I want that to be replaced.
Do you have an idea of how much all that would cost?
At the moment, no, I don't. But that's what I would like to have replaced. I think it's from what I looked up. I think it was about $3,500 or a little bit more.
$3,500.
Mm-hmm. Koi fish are going to be a lot. They're pretty expensive as well too.
Right. Okay. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that $3,500 number?
I think it's kind of outrageous.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm willing to work with him. I'm open to it, but I think 3,500 is kind of outrageous due to the fact that it's only half the yard that was messed up, not the full yard. And again, like, I had no control of the pesticides. Yes, I have common sense or whatever, but like, again, I've gone through a lot. It's not like I'm thinking like, oh, pesticides are gonna fly over to my neighbor's yard. No, like I'm just trying to get day by day, like go with the flow.
Have you used these pesticides like many times before?
I've used it like a few times before that, and there was never any issues.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then, but I guess this time,
May I ask a question? What was it that you were actually trying to spray? What were you trying to do with the pesticide? Because I feel like you were purposely trying to harm my yard.
there's weeds in my yard, and I can't afford a gardener because I lost my job and I have kids to pay for, so I'm doing yard work on my own. So I'm working on, like, I was doing daily chores. I have nothing else to do since I don't have a job.
So spraying pesticides on these weeds is part of like a daily chore that you tend
Not
to
a
do.
daily. I think I do it
Like monthly landscaping type
or
of
like
deal.
whenever the weeds get bad.
Right. Okay. And just this one time, something happened that maybe they went over the fence and happened to get into Mr. Guyash's yard.
Possibly, I don't know. Weathers do change. It could be because it's been windier recently, so that could be a thing. But
So going back to the $3,500 number, where would you be willing to be to meet him with that? You're saying it's a little outrageous.
well, I don't have a job,
Okay.
so making that much, like giving him that much money is going to be like kind of difficult right now. I mean, I can probably do it like over time, but like, I mean, if he wants me to pay for the yard, I can find a cheap. I know someone who can do it just as well as like a professional person, but like a lot cheaper.
Right.
So like, cut down the price. And the camera, I'm not paying for that. Because I tried to ask them to take the camera away, and if it's one camera, for a few months, if they're so worried about his dad's protection or whatever, why didn't they add more within those multiple months? Why is it just one camera seeing my house?
Right.
So basically,
For A,
just want to catch you.
the 13-inch
You're not going to pay for the camera. Okay. I think 3,500 is outrageous.
But I
You said
will
you're
be.
willing to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wanna work with it, but you don't want to get a professional landscapist because you know someone that can do that as good as a professional. So it's gonna be cheaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have a job, okay? You're not willing to pay that much, but you're willing to pay some, and you're not going to pay for the camera, correct? Okay, Mr. Kobayashi, you want the camera paid for, the entire backyard re-landscaped, and you want new koi fish, correct?
Correct.
So,
And I also, there's one more thing I also want.
Yeah.
I also want to feel like I'm not threatened by Dale Smith anymore. My
Can I call
father
a
is.
caucus?
Yes, we can go ahead and take 5 to 10 minutes with Dale, and we'll call you in when we're ready.
yeah, and we'll just do the opposite. So
Sounds good.
talk to her 5:10, and we'll bring you back to 5:10.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so, yeah, what would you like to specify?
So what I'm kind of getting from him is that he's making me come out as a little bit of a racist. Like he said, he wants me to respect him as a person, or culturally, or like don't threaten him, things like that. I've already admitted into like I came off a little threatening, but you guys, could you like understand my frustration with the camera situation and then trying to like communicate with that, but then not being reciprocated? Is that kind of like making a little sense or whatever?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from with the camera situation.
But like, if the thing is that like, yeah, I may have came off threatening, but like he also came off threatening with like the practicing of martial arts. I'm trying to talk to him, like, why couldn't you pause for a second and like talk to me?
Right. So going back to the race thing, you want to make sure that race has nothing to do with this. You
Yeah,
want to make sure
it has
he feels
nothing to do with that. Like, I've never had any issues. Like, I've been neighbors with his dad for a very long time, and we've never had any issues. It's like, he's a cool dude. I respect the dude. Like, I've never had any problems with him and things like that. But recently, like, all of a sudden there's a camera in the backyard. All of a sudden it's facing only my house. All of a sudden, like, I don't know, his son's been coming over a lot, and like, because of language barrier, I have to communicate with the son. The son honestly gets on my nerves. Like, he comes off like he's like this entitled dude, and it's like I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to fix a problem, and it's just not like.
Do you feel singled out at all? Like with the camera situation, and
Yeah, I
and
do.
with you know, with the son saying this, and your father saying maybe about the racist comments like that you're talking
I
about.
feel like a scummy person, honestly. Like, I'm a divorcee.
Yeah.
I don't have custody of my kids, who are like my world, and I don't have custody. I just lost my job. Like, let's just throw racist on top of that. Like, how does that make anybody feel?
Yeah. So he, you know, when Mr. Kobayashi says that, you know, he feels threatened, right? And then he goes on to explain how you know, hit the camera with the broom, and I think we really both understand, like, you know, everyone can see that, like, can see where you're coming from with that, but like, it's a little too much.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just as a personal question, like for me to you, since Mr. Kobayashi isn't in the room right now, you know, it's just us. This is obviously super confidential. No one's gonna know about this conversation. Like, anger management, is that a thing with you? Do you have anger? Like, do you feel yourself being angry over certain things, or do you feel like you need to be angry sometimes? Like, you know, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I may have an anger management issue, but it could just be the buildup of me, like, buildup of, again, the life situations that I'm going through. That wasn't, and then it wasn't like one time I've tried to communicate with the Kobayashis. It was like multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Like, one being ignored, to the time we actually communicate, not being acknowledged. Like, it's been multiple times I've been trying to have this conversation, and it's just not happening. And so, like, there's times where I kind of have, like, I mean, I probably shouldn't have broke their camera. I think, if anything, I was just trying to swipe it out of, like, facing my house. It being broken is a complete accident, but I'm not gonna pay for that or try to fix that or anything. Like, I've tried to discuss with them how I felt, and like, but it wasn't, like, they weren't doing anything about it. So, I mean, it's unfortunate of it's very unfortunate the camera was broken. Like I'm apologetic about it, but I'm not taking responsibility for the camera part. The koi fish situation, again, I didn't know how like important the koi fish was to them, and like I'm not gonna pay for the full backyard. Like I can't, honestly. Like it's just out of my budget right now. But I am willing to negotiate something or work out something and get stuff.
Here's like a question I have is like, what are you willing to do? Let's say not money wise, or not fixing the camera situation, but just saying like, just like really confidential. What are you willing to do to come together? What would be your like perfect agreement, Mr. Kobayashi? Do you understand that?
Okay, I do want to come to So I want to come to the understanding. I am willing to pay again like some money to fix things. I do have a friend who does landscaping, and he's gonna give me a deal. He's a professional landscaper, but he'll give me a deal rather than spending the whole $3,000 to fix the backyard. I'll even like work on helping out also, because like I told you guys earlier, I do work on my own yard, so I do have some knowledge within that. I want to fix his communication, because it is frustrating to have a neighbor, and like again, I get along. I don't have any issues with the dad. It's just Soto, whatever, however you say his name. Sorry if that came up. I just don't have pronunciation. Just like if I like have to fix that barrier, because I do have to live next door to his dad, and I do have some like negative predicaments, I guess, in my life right now, and I don't need to keep adding on to that. If he does want me to pay for something, he has to give me some time, I guess, to find a new job, but I can't find a new job if I have this on my record.
Yeah.
So like
That makes sense. Okay. Well, we're gonna take the information that you gave us and see if we can leverage that to work something out. But at this time, we're gonna go ahead and call Sato in and give him his time. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Sato, come on in.
Very well. What's going on, guys?
Oh, Sato. So we want to make this clear. We want to clear there. So, in your perfect scenario, perfect world, how would this end?
It would end ultimately with Dale replacing everything that he has ruined in my father's backyard, along with him doing it through, an appropriate professional work landscaping company. Like I want him to learn a principle. The one thing that's bothered me about Dale is that since he came into the neighborhood, it's been a little bit of a ruckus going on, circus. About a couple months ago, before I put the cameras up, there was already like a home invasion by the police officers, because they believe that he might have had some drugs or something like that. And I feel like Dale thinks that I'm the one who called. I'm not the one who called. But I will put the camera wherever I would like it for my father's protection. He's old, he needs protection. What if Dale is a drug dealer? What if these things they say about him is true? Right. I'm worried about my father. And from what I've seen, Dale is careless, and he is destructive, and he is not willing to pay for what he has done. And if I'm the only one to teach him this lesson in his life, then I will be.
Okay. So it seems out of it, the most important thing that we want to get out of this is to make sure Dale understands that there are consequences to certain actions that you take.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, do you think that's too much of me to ask?
No, I think you're entitled to your own opinion. You're not out of the wrong at all. So one thing that we did want to mention was, you said that everything would cost roughly around $3,500 to replace.
It's going to probably be a little bit more than that, but that's to start with. Some of the trees and the new sod,
Right.
the koi fish. Now that might be a little bit more to replace because I had a lot of koi fish.
Right. So I think we all know that Dale is going through a tough time with not having a job, having very limited resources with money. Do you think you might be able to work with him in the sense of money, helping him with money, or being able to let him use his guys to get some type of deal so that it might not cost as much? Or, where do you stand with kind of meeting in the middle?
When my father got this backyard put in, it was professionally done. So now that it's ruined, I would like it professionally done. Going through one of Dale's friends, it's unacceptable for me. And I mean, if I can't really trust Dale, then what good is any recommendation of his to have someone fix my backyard?
Right.
I want it done my way,
Okay.
and I want it done the best for my father as well.
Right. So out of the bushes, the trees, the camera, the koi fish, what kind of stands out to you the most that you would like replaced immediately? What has the most significance to you?
The koi fish. The koi fish had an absolutely tremendous significance. It's so significant to me.
Right.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, the koi fish, every year growing up, we would give one koi fish we'd put one koi fish in the pond for my mother's birthday growing up, me and my siblings. So for my father and for me, since our mother has passed, it is a very big thing, and it was super meaningful to me and my family. So now that the koi fish no longer exists, I'm just very upset about it.
Yeah. So the koi fish kind of represent not only your mother, but they represent like your past experiences with her, especially now that she's gone.
It was a sentimental piece, something that I feel like almost money can't even be replaced.
Okay.
By money, it can't even be replaced.
Yeah. I understand.
Like, you can get me new koi fish, but the memories that I had with my mother, those koi fish are gone.
Right. Yeah. And, we are very sorry for your loss.
Dale hasn't even thought to ask me why do I care so much about the koi fish. It's just, I don't have the money. I don't have the. He hasn't even tried to understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
And that's my biggest. That's my biggest problem with Dale, and that's why I want to hold Dale accountable. Because I don't see. To me, it doesn't seem like he's truly sorry.
Right. Okay.
It seems like he just wants to pick on me and my father, and I'm not gonna have it.
Okay.
I'm American too.
Right.
You say you're American too, right? And then I remember, earlier in this mediation, saying that you feel threatened and you feel, kind of uncertain about Dale. Is the threatening more, I don't want to bring it up, but racist, or is it more like physical? Like, are you scared physically, or the threatening is like, is he threatening you with racist comments? Or how do you feel with him?
I don't trust him. I don't know if it's gonna be a physical thing. I don't know what it is. But that day when he was in my garage, I felt that he was just too close for comfort, and to be in my home, yelling, threatening me, it was unacceptable. I just feel like Dale was just reckless. And I feel like from his problems that he says he has, I feel like his life is just spiraling out of control. So if he can't get a grip, then he could do something in my life that I don't like.
So that's a physical scare.
Yeah, it's all of the above. I just don't trust him.
So does race have anything to do with how you feel about this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that he treats me and my father like this because we are Japanese and my father speaks no English. I feel like he thinks that my father can't stand up for himself, so I can.
So you think you can get away with certain things that
Exactly.
you wouldn't be able to get away with if your father could stand up for himself?
Exactly.
So you think you have to protect your father a little bit more now?
Exactly. And since he shows no respect for me, for sure he would not respect my father.
All right, well, I think me and Brandon are going to let you go out. We're going to go over what we just heard from both of you and kind of find a standing ground, and then we'll call both of you guys back in a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So this is what I got. I got that Mr. Kobayashi thinks that it's not only a racist thing, but it's like a physical thing as well for like, the threatening that he's getting from Dale. But Dale only thinks that it's a racist. Dale thinks that it's like specifically racist from Mr. Kobayashi.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was picking up too. Yeah. So how do you think we could kind of get these two to come to agreement? I don't. The main issue.
I mean, looking at both their sides and like seeing where they're coming from, Dale wants to pay for not close to 35.
Money.
Yeah, Dale wants to save money, and he doesn't want to fight the camera.
Exactly.
And Mr.
Mr. Kobayashi's deal is like totally separate from money. There's like
nothing to do with it. It's all sentimental.
Right.
And it's all about learning a lesson.
Yeah. Like wanting Dale to like reach out to him and like ask him what he truly wants, or like at least make an effort to fix things, right?
So I think something that we could try to do this next, in the time that we have,
right?
Something we can try and do is to see if we can get Dale to ask Kobayashi
up a little more.
Yeah, right. To see if we can get Dale to be like, okay, why does Mr. Kobayashi feel like that?
Right.
And maybe to understand, we want to make sure that they both understand each other. Because when they start understanding each other, then they're going to start coming to agreements, right? So we got to try and make them connect a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you think we do that?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. I think that's where we kind of have to find ways to mesh both of their scenarios together. I think maybe asking Dale, more sentimental questions, less about the money issue about him, kind of focus on the other things, and hopefully with doing that, we'll be able to get the answer that we want.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know if this is the best idea, but we always do like a, picture yourself in their type of shoes type thing. So we can be like, Dale, I want you to picture yourself with Mr. Kobayashi. And understand where he's trying to come from. Mr. Kobayashi, I want you to do the same, right? But I want them to be honest with each other, honest with themselves. I don't want them to lie. I don't want them to say, just to kind of say something. I want them to feel what the other person's feeling, so that they can feel each other, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if this doesn't work out, then it goes to court,
and then Dale with his family and his job and all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of headaches that I think we can hash out here.
We can try and resolve. Right. I think maybe we can start asking maybe personalized questions too, while both of them are out here.
Right.
So we can try and get I don't want them to argue, but I want them to talk to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they start to argue, that's fine. Let them go for a little bit.
Yeah.
But if they start getting a little too heated, we can call another caucus. Maybe we can tell them to step out for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want them to talk to each other. I don't want them to just talk to us. Right. I want them to start talking to each other as well.
Right. Yeah. I think that'll be something very powerful to utilize instead of kind of filtering through us. Just kind of have them hash it out. Have an open conversation face to face.
Yeah.
And I think that'll produce some good results. So.
All right. So we'll call them back in here. Let's try and do personalized questions while they're both out here, and see if we can get them to maybe talk to each other a little bit, maybe, just maybe, right? And then let's try and ask Dale more personalized, sentimental questions.
Yeah.
Let's try and stay off the track of money.
Yeah.
And then let's see if we can try and get them to come to some sort of agreement.
Right.
I know they're not going to come to one, but not yet, too early. But let's see if we can try and get them to start.
Take the right step.
Right. To start. Maybe we can get Mr. Kobayashi to drop down his number.
Right.
And maybe he'll be okay with the video camera not being paid. Let's try and get them to feel for each other. Right.
Yeah.
We need empathy from them.
Exactly.
And sympathy from both of them as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That works perfectly fine with me.
Okay. So you can call back in if you want.
So, Mr. Sato and Dale, and you come back in the room.
Okay, so we appreciate that from both of you, really. Both those conversations that we just had have been, talked over.
Insightful.
Yeah, they were nice. They were good. Like we got to know a little bit more of the side from each of you.
Gotcha.
Because it's we're alone. It's personal. It's good.
Right. So Dale, I was curious. What do you really value out of life? What's like really important to you?
My kids.
Kids. What do your kids mean to you?
The world. It means so much to me, and like I wouldn't want them to think that like their dad's just like this asshole of a guy, and like right now I'm in a tough spot, but I'm trying to get out of it, and I just don't want my kids to like think of me as like a douche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So how do you think you can make sure that they don't picture you as that type of person?
No, like hopefully the charge is getting dropped, because like if they just see like their dad kind of just like vandalize, like having that on the record or going to jail, that can like destroy my kids.
Right. So that's something you don't want your kids to be exposed to at all.
Yeah, I don't want them to see their dad having to go to jail or having to visit their dad in jail or anything.
Yeah.
Like that's just not okay for a kid.
It's really hard to do that.
So you're afraid to lose that connection, right?
And
I'm just clarifying, making sure that we're on the same
Yeah.
page. Mr. Kobayashi, what's something that you really, same question. Like, what's something that matters to you? What do you value?
For me, it's family as well. I value my family, my father, my mother who passed away. I value my brothers and sisters and my kids, all of them. It's something that, like if I didn't care, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm still looking after my father. I visit him. I try to visit him every day, possible. It's something that's really valuable to me. It's my core value, family.
So it seems that both of you core values that you have are both in family, if I'm not mistaken.
The same thing,
Yeah, you guys value the same thing, essentially. Dale, did you have a daughter or a son?
I have both. I have one of each. So I have a daughter and a son. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Kobayashi. So you said family was important to you as well,
Very important,
right?
yeah.
Do you have a son or daughter?
Yeah, so I have 2 sons.
Okay.
2 sons of my own.
What do they mean to you?
They mean the world to me, I love my kids. I'll do anything for my kids.
Okay.
So, I want to try something here. Like, maybe you guys are for it, maybe you're not. I guess we'll find out. That's what we're here for, to try and figure out what we're here for. You know what I mean? We want to come to an agreement. That's what we want. We want an agreement between you two with this situation so that we can just forget it ever happened, we can be in good terms, and be on a good page. Correct? Right? Okay. This is what I want to do. I want you guys to flip sides. Like, picture yourself as Dale. I want you to picture yourself as Mr. Kobayashi, right? I want you to feel what he feels, and I want you to feel what he feels. Like, imagine if a camera was pointed at your house, Mr. Kobayashi. Maybe you wouldn't like that. Or maybe that Mr. Kobayashi sprayed pesticide into, your yard, either accidentally or on purpose, So far, we're not sure, but either way, it got into his yard, and it killed his plants, and it screwed up his yard, right? Like, how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel? Your koi fish are gone, your plants are gone, things that you worked for, things that you had are gone because someone else took them from you. You know what I mean? Like, how would that make you feel?
Made me feel pretty bad. Yeah.
So Sato, imagine this. You don't have a job. You lost your job. Very little money. You have all these stresses going on in your life. And you feel like everything's kind of going the wrong way. So how, picture yourself in Dale's shoes. How would it make you feel? How all these things make you feel?
I mean, I guess I can understand why he's going through some of the things that he's going through, but I don't feel sorry for having the camera pointed towards his house. Like I said, you were under investigation, and by me having a camera on my house, it shows that I am just protecting my father. Like I said, family matters to me. My father matters to me. So by that camera being up there, I'm showing that I'm watching out for my father.
That was okay. When the cops came to my house, I was accused of something, and I was never convicted. So there's no proof that I did anything, and there was no reason for the cops to come over. And they did apologize, and they said there was nothing that I had to worry about in that situation. I'm sorry that you feel that I could be a threat or anything, but I'm really not. I'm a 30-year-old dude with nothing going for myself. What can I possibly really do to you or your family? I'm trying to get by.
Well, you know, there was a reason your house was raided.
Again,
I just have to protect my
because
father.
I was falsely accused.
Why? Who?
I don't know. I mean, you're kind of messed up to me, so I would assume you, but I'm not going to assume anything. But the thing is, what they're asking you is, how would you feel if I made your kids feel unsafe or unprotected? The camera facing my house when my little girl comes and visits and all that stuff, that could put me in a predicament. Not how you feel uncomfortable with your dad and wanting to protect your dad. That's how I feel about my daughter, and that's how I felt about the camera. And I'm sorry it got broken or destroyed. It wasn't my intent. I was just trying to push it away from my house, and it happened to knock over and break. And that is I am apologetic for, but you have to understand where I'm coming from.
Well, I mean, the only difference to me is that I'm not a criminal or accused of being a criminal.
So would you have a problem with a camera pointed towards your house, specifically your bathroom?
If I was a criminal, then I would accept what it should be. But I'm not a criminal.
Neither am I.
Well, I've never even been accused of being a criminal.
So, would a camera facing your house make you feel like a criminal?
I mean, like I said, I'm not a criminal. I've never been accused of being a criminal. I'm a very professional guy. I've been, I only live my life on honor. I'm not that type of guy. So, if I was, then yeah, point a camera at me. You know what I mean? For your safety, do that. But since I'm not, since I've never been accused, I mean, look at me. Since I've never been accused, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
You know? And like I said, you have came here, you have caused commotion, you have withered the plants, destroyed the fish in the yard. You've kind of been a menace, a nightmare neighbor. And for me to feel that I need to protect my father from someone like you, I think that's what I gotta do. I have to do what I have to do. Now, I would love to come to some resolution, you know?
Right.
And I would love to to resolve things and make things better. But that's gonna be right after we agree to fully fix my father's yard. Like I said, under my circumstances. And after that, we can talk about that. We can talk about that relationship. Because I want to have a good relationship with you. But right now, my trust with you, my relationship with you has been burned.
You're discriminating against me over events that I had no control
I'm not
over.
discriminating against you.
Go ahead.
He keeps criminalizing me. That's discriminating me in a way. Like, he feels I'm discriminating over him because of his culture and, like, his ethnicity and things like that. But over actions that were out of my control, it's the same way, you know? And then we can't figure anything out if we can't meet in the middle of, like, he doesn't want to understand where I'm coming from. I get it. The whole significance and, like, things with his fish and things like that, he's mentioned it, and I do feel extremely bad. And again, like I told you guys, I do want to work things out. I do want to fix things, but how can I do that if I can't afford it? And he doesn't want to work around that. He doesn't.
Do you even know what those fish meant to me and my family?
You mentioned earlier that was something to do with your mom, and it's a big deal with your family and things like that. And both of us coming to like a conclusion that family does mean a lot to both of us, I can understand. And then them asking me to sit in your shoes, and like how would I feel if something that I worked hard for or build and things like that got destroyed?
So you're unwilling to pay for anything, even though you do understand.
I've never said I'm not willing. I'm not going to pay for the camera. That's what I'm not willing to pay for. But I am willing to work something out to fix your yard. I said that I don't have a job, so how can I afford $3,000 to fix your backyard? But I do have a friend who does work for a professional landscaping business who's willing to cut me a deal to help fix the yard. And even I will put, since I don't have a job, I have extra time to help work on it. But you don't want to hear that.
So it seems like money is kind of a big barrier that we're facing right now. We did get to hear Dale's type of solution, satire. Do you think is there anything that you might be able to do?
I mean, money just doesn't matter to me and my family. We don't care about that. What we care about is teaching you a lesson, having you learn a principle that you cannot just do whatever you want. If you learn that now, then you'll have that go down until the end of you living here. You'll know your place. That's all I'm saying. That's how I feel.
Isn't me offering to help fix your yard teaching me something? I'm not
Well, I
like.
mean, if you're cutting corners to do it the way that you like to, you're not really learning the lesson. You're learning that you can just mess things up and kind of fix them, put a Band-Aid on them.
Okay, so I'm catching a little bit of tension, which is fine because you guys are talking to each other, right? You still haven't came with you still haven't figured out a solution yet. But let's talk about the solution, right? Let's talk about the money that you don't have. Okay? Let's talk about the fact that she's willing to pay, right? She's willing to pay, but she wants to do it with her friend, which is unacceptable and not okay with you, right?
Not acceptable.
What if that's the only way that you can come to a solution? What if you want to accept that solution? You have to go to court then to let her.
I don't want to go to court.
So then why can't you let her use a friend as a website?
Because it's just not. She's not learning a lesson. That's just how I feel. Or he's not learning a lesson from that. But I don't want to go to court.
Okay. And also one more thing, going back to, the fish, the koi, I mean a lot to you. I heard you ask Dale, do you even know what those fish meant to me? And, you proceeded to say, yeah, something to do with you, right? And I want you to know how much they mean to him. And I'm going to ask you if it's okay if you share with Dale, what those fish, what those koi really actually meant to you. So, he can understand, where you stand with that situation. You're a family guy, right? I want you to understand how much those koi mean to you. so you can maybe see it in a different perspective. So,
Every year that my mother had her birthday, the kids, me and my brothers, sisters, along with my father, we would all gift her one koi fish a year. So every year up until the year that she passed, we gifted her a koi fish. Now we no longer have those koi fish. And yes, they can be replaced with money, but it's not the same. We lost the koi fish. And that's one of the most sentimental things that still holds me to my mother to this day. So now that we don't have those anymore, I don't have them. And that really bothered my father, and it really bothered me, and it really bothered my family. You know, I talk to my kids about these koi fish all the time, and now they'll never be able to play with those koi fish exactly once ever again, feed them enough. So, to me, just the fact that you never really tried to even understand yourself or ask the right questions about it, that I have to tell you this, it doesn't really make me feel sorry for you at all. Because it showed that you were reckless and you did not really care. You didn't care to understand what they meant to me. It was just, hey, I messed up your backyard, your fish, your plants, your camera. But they can all be replaced. It doesn't work like that. Especially not in my family.
So now that you know, maybe you get a better grasp of the situation, right? Maybe now that you understand what those fish actually meant to Mr. Kobayashi, right? I'm going to ask you the question that I asked you earlier, but since you have a full grasp on the situation, I'm asking to you again. You know, if you're in that situation, if you're in his shoes, right? And then those koi fish die now, right? Those koi fish that mean everything to him. His mother, his past situations, his past, just life with his mom. His mom dies, and then, his koi fish die. And the neighbor is the reason for it. What do you think about that now? Now that you have a different perspective on the situation, is there anything different that you could say to him, or anything at all that you feel now that you understand maybe what you is?
Well, I am very apologetic. I didn't fully grasp what those fish meant to him, what the backyard meant to him, but again, he mentioned over and over again that I can't replace that stuff. So what am I supposed to do with the $3,000? Like, how is that going to replace the memories and things like that? Like, what difference does it, if I can't replace his memories or replace the significance behind things, what's the difference between the payment or whatever? Like, I'm offering him I'm going to work for it. I will work and fix his yard. I'm trying to fix things. I'll even bring my kids over to bring fish. I mean, that's not the point. I'm sorry. I know that might have offended you, but just the fact that, I don't know what to do at this point.
Yeah.
I've given you guys, my offering on things like that, We know my situation, and I get it. He doesn't feel sympathetic towards me, and I do feel sympathetic towards the backyard. I had no control over that. But I have no control over the whole scenario. So I just don't know what more he can want from me if I can't afford to give him what he wants. I'm trying to fix the situation in a way that I can't afford it. He thinks I'm trying to cut corners. There's no corners to cut if I can't afford these certain things, there's only so much I can do.
But you should not have been able to make those mistakes so carelessly, so recklessly, if you cannot afford to pay for them the proper way. That was how I was taught. And this is how I will teach my kids. You're not my kid, but I want to be able to teach you the same lesson. That when you make mistakes like that, you have to fix them, and you have to fix them the right way.
Even though my friend's a professional landscaper, you want to go through a professional company. He is a professional company. The difference is that, it's going to be the same type of work. It's just going to be cheaper on my end. I don't know what more I don't have a job. I do have kids to pay for. If I have this on my record, that's going to be harder for me to find a job. It's going to be harder for me to pay for anything that you want me to pay for. I'm trying to fix things here. We're trying to work on the communication, but how can I do that if you're so, for like a lack of a better word, stubborn to fix the situation?
I just feel like it's letting you off the hook, and I don't feel like it's fixing anything. It will just repeat itself.
Yeah, I feel like communication is something that's missing in this relationship. I think you mentioned you tried to go over and speak to Mr. Kobayashi, but
And was ignored and not acknowledged,
right.
so on and so forth.
So you guys never actually had to have a conversation like the one that we're having today.
Yes.
And it seems like to Sato, he really wants you to sympathize with him and to have empathy. And wants to try to like imagine what those koi fish would mean to you if you were him, and that if you were able to voice those kind of thoughts and those feelings to him, and essentially apologize, for lack of better words, to him instead of addressing the money, all money aside, all bushes aside.
I have been addressing, and I have apologized, and I have been sympathizing, and I have acknowledged that. And I feel on my end that I'm doing my part. On his end, he just keeps criminalizing me, accusing me, saying I'm this and that, saying that like I put myself in this situation. I didn't want to get a divorce. Life happens. I didn't mean to get fired. It's a spiral effect. And he could say I'm spiraling. He can keep saying that I'm a criminal because I was accused of something which I was never convicted for. So I don't have a criminal record. Just things keep happening. And there's only so much I can do on my end. I'm trying here. And I have sympathized. I've said sorry earlier in this. I've said like I can understand, like since you told me the significance behind your fish, and I want to fix it. I'm just trying to figure out a way that can work for both of us, where you still get the professional work done for your yard, but in a way where I can actually pursue that. You know, the $3,000. There's no way I can do it. I just can't. Like, I'm trying, but I don't have the budget for it, and you could say that I'm getting off the hook, but I'm sitting here, I'm trying to let you know what I can do. The screen, trying to let you know what I can do, but you just don't want to hear it. You don't want it. You're very, I want this, this, and this, and I'm trying to find I'm trying to like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to find like a way that we can come to an agreement where you still get your professional work done, where you still get like
your. What about the koi fish? Who pays for the koi fish? Does that come with the professional work?
I can replace the koi fish, but the yard, you've mentioned the yard multiple times, how you want the whole yard fixed, and that's what I assumed, because you said I can't give you those memories back with the koi fish, but you want the whole yard dead.
Of course.
So
you ruined it.
That exactly, and that's what I'm trying to fix. The koi fish, we can work something out. We'll talk about something, but again, you said the memories can't come back with the koi fish. You want the whole yard dead. So that's what I was coming off that you wanted.
And the koi fish.
Okay, so you want to teach her a lesson, but in a better way. You're showing her principle, right? You are saying that, hey, actions have consequences, right? It's basically what you're trying to get at.
Exactly, because this has been going on for months. And it's been a series of things, not just one thing.
Yeah.
So when I felt like, this might have been an act of, I wouldn't say terror, but an act against me or my father, then I don't think that I should let someone off the hook when things get too serious, She may not have known, or he may not have known that I had koi fish in my yard, but by spraying those pesticides, I'm sure he knew what side effect it could have in my yard. Like if it would kill the trees or the plants that I've created back there. So I'm sure there was some idea of some damage that could be done. Now the damage is significantly done, and I just felt like Dale's trying to run from it. And I understand that, you know, like you have a family to take care of, and I understand all of those things, but I mean, how can you really live with yourself knowing that you do things like this and you just, oh, I'm gonna have my friend take care of it. What if he doesn't do a good job? What if, you know, like I don't know this guy. Like I said, I want to go through a trusted source that I know, a trusted source that I know that can get the job done. Somebody that I can choose.
How about this? How about, you know, we've came up with, you know, your conclusion or agreement to this mediation is that you would like her to pay $3,500 or more and pay for the camera, right?
Of course.
And he says, that, you know, you would like to pay for, you wouldn't pay that much, but you would pay, you know, for your friend who's a professional, you know, landscaper. You wouldn't pay for the camera because it made you feel uncomfortable. Those are the two that we've came up with so far in this mediation. I'm going to throw one out there, right? You know, I'm sure Brandon's going to agree with me, but just because I feel like it benefits both of you, you want to teach him a lesson.
Definitely
right?
do.
So how about he comes over once or twice a week and he can work on your yard, right? I mean, I know it's not professional, but that's a lesson. A lesson is him.
I don't trust him in my backyard.
You're gonna be there.
I
You can
don't.
be there, and you can. But that's how you can build a relationship.
But I also don't have time for that. I have a very professional and serious job.
Yeah.
So I can't take the time off to babysit someone and make sure they're not, you know, torturing my father. I need it done by a company that is based off morals and values that can come and get the work and do the work.
So that's it. You're not willing to bend or shift or change or anything. That's what you want. That's what you need in this. That's your end goal.
That is what I need.
Yes.
He hasn't even known the company my friend works for. How does he know that, like, the company that my friend works for isn't trusted or anything? He just assumes, because of his opinion of me, that all, like, the person that I can go through is going to be this terrible person.
What if there's a company that I haven't
I've already read one. I have notes on it. I just need to type it out.
that I can't afford? That I've been trying to tell you, like.
What if, you know, what if you, okay, how about this? Jump in if you have something, you know, what if we give you, you know, time limit to find a job, okay? And then we give, you know, so we give you a time limit to find a job. You find a job in that time limit, and then every week you give Mr. Kobayashi a certain amount of money, right? Mr. Kobayashi, maybe you pay for the landscaping, okay? You pay for the koi fish, you pay for everything so it gets done now. But in time, you know, maybe he finds that job in a certain period of time, and maybe he pays you in increments. He pays you, you know, increments every week.
Yeah, but I can't wait for forever. You know, like this can't be something that goes on for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or it can't be something that I do and then I don't get the money back or all the money back. I've heard of these stories, and I'm not gonna be one to be tricked into something like that. You know, like I said, from what I've seen with Dale here, is that he's unresponsible and reckless. And how can I trust Dale to pay me back in payments? How long is it going to take? 10 years? 15 years? My father will be dead by then. It'll be pointless.
Well, the time limit. They're giving me a time limit.
What's the time limit? Will you really abide by that?
If I can, okay, let's see. I need to find a job. And I'm working on it. I do need to do that, and I'm working on it. If we can figure out something, I'm for it. But it's still, are you going to stop putting a camera towards my house? Because just me paying for things isn't going to change your opinion on me, and that's not fair in my end. Like, you get what you want, but I'm going to keep getting criminalized. I'm losing my money. Like, I've been trying to figure something out, and It's so far it's just been you.
Well, you did destroy my property. You did destroy the camera. You did come in and threaten me in my father's house. I mean, if you look at it, guys, it's all been towards me and my father. And I told you why I think it's been that way. I think it's because my father does not speak English, so she thinks she can get away with that, or he thinks he can get away with that. So, in my eyes, yeah, it is me, but me and my family are the victim. I mean, this is me taking. This is potentially me taking you to court, not you taking me. There's nothing I've done to you.
These are all the values that you're dependent on.
The camera facing my house, not wanting to talk to me or trying to figure a solution for that.
It's not illegal.
It's an invasion of privacy. That is illegal.
It's not invasion of privacy.
You have a camera singling out my house, singling myself out. That
I think it goes beyond, the camera, money. I think Sato really wants to try to change you for the better. I'm not mistaken.
that's not what I'm getting from that whatsoever. He just wants me to pay for actions that were out of my control,
Right.
and he wants me to like.
Do you feel bad?
He wants
about
me to get
everything?
disciplined. I do feel bad, and I've mentioned that multiple times in this mediation, and I've told you guys a solution. I've told you I don't have a problem with his dad.
Right.
It's always been the communication between us that's always been really bad. And I've told you guys that I've tried to talk to them about the camera, and I've been ignored and like unacknowledged
Right.
every time. Like there's not much, and it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango, and I mean, yeah, I have apologized. I have been sympathetic, but where has that been reciprocated throughout this whole mediation?
So do me a favor, I don't think I remember you directly apologizing. Can you tell Sato how you feel about the situation? Any apologies you might have, any lessons you might have learned, things of that sort, directly to him.
It's just a little
I'm sorry that I destroyed your camera. I'm sorry that actions that took place in my property affected your life and your property. I'm sorry that you felt threatened
Really?
by me. I'm very, I'm sorry in general, that you felt some type of way in any situation. But I am here, and I do want to fix things
You don't respect me.
in a way that can work out for both of us.
3,000 miles to get treated like this.
Sato, what did you get out of that?
Daddy's got a lot going on with his life right now. And he don't got time to put up with your
I'm
shit.
thinking that, it's a lot
Oh, word?
just to decide on at the moment. I do like, your honesty. I do like that
I was
you
tired when I did
are trying to
this.
fix
I was
things
up
with
till
me.
5 in the morning, and all I did was complain for the
But I will say that at the moment,
You too.
I still need what I need.
At least I did something.
So maybe we need some more mediations to continue here.
It's higher. I can't.
I do feel like we are getting somewhere where I can understand where you're coming from. But like I said, I'm still convinced that I need to go through with how I feel about things because it's the only way that you will learn. So that's just my stance on it still.
So that's it. That's time. Okay. We'll
Yeah, the first
we'll
one.
continue this later. We just want
It
to.
should
Me and
work.
Brandon
If
just
you
want to
look
thank you
at my
guys
graphs.
for coming out.
Okay, this is.
Literally just being so open, so honest. And
This
I know
is
this is tough for
that.
both of you.
Of
Going
the
through
entry
this
vehicle.
time in your life.
Absolutely.
Losing, your past memories. And, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the necessary steps towards resolving this manner.
Yeah.
The sweet bag.
We have no doubt
It's
that
just the sweet bag
we
of
think
the
things
perimeter.
will be resolved,
Not a
but
sweet bag.
good things do take
Right.
time.
So this is uniform. This is also good.
Looking forward to
This is
resolving this in the near
forward.
future.
Good. Now, for some reason, when I convert this into your riot and into its sweet,